Mark Labbett, known around the world as the Beast, has always been larger than life. Towering presence, booming voice, razor-sharp wit, and a personality big enough to fill any room he walks into. Fans adore him, not just for his intellect, but for the blend of humor and confidence that makes him unforgettable on screen. But recently, something felt different, something quieter, something that fans couldn't quite put their finger on. A small change in his usual energy, barely noticeable at first, slowly grew into concern across social media. Viewers wondered whether something was happening behind the scenes, something Mark had been keeping to himself. For months, Mark brushed off the whispers with jokes, as he usually does. When fans commented that he looked more tired, he'd laugh it off and blame it on chasing contestants who answered too slowly. If someone asked why he took a longer pause than usual, he'd tease them by saying he was letting the tension simmer for dramatic effect. But behind the humor, something real was happening. And today, for the first time in a long while, Mark decided to speak openly about it. He didn't come forward with a dramatic announcement. He didn't appear on a talk show or release an emotional statement online. Instead, he shared it in the most Mark Labbett way possible, honestly, calmly, and with a sense of humor so sharp it could slice through any tension like a knife. Fans were stunned, not because his words were frightening, but because they were unexpectedly sincere. Mark explained that over the past year, he had been going through a period of major change. Work was demanding, travel schedules were intense, long filming days stretched late into the night, and through it all, he found himself feeling more drained than usual. Nothing drastic, nothing dramatic, just a sense that life was moving faster than even the Beast could chase it. He admitted, with surprising vulnerability, that he hadn't been prioritizing himself the way he needed to. For someone used to powering through anything, slowing down felt almost unnatural. But eventually, even a powerhouse needs to take a breath. What he shared wasn't a tragic confession. It wasn't shocking by nature. It was shocking because of its honesty. Mark spoke about feeling exhausted, overwhelmed at times, and in need of balance. And though these feelings were completely human, the internet reacted with an outpouring of worry and support. Fans around the world encouraged him to take time for himself, reminding him that even legends need rest. But leave it to Mark to lighten the mood in the most unexpected way. He joked that if fans saw him moving slowly on set, it wasn't because he felt unwell, it was because he had learned that walking dramatically makes him look mysterious and intimidating. According to him, it's all part of the Beast brand. The comment had fans laughing, even as they expressed concern for his well-being. That's the magic of Mark. Even moments of vulnerability are wrapped in humor strong enough to make people feel at ease. But what truly caught fans off guard was what he revealed next. He shared that throughout this entire period, he had been reevaluating what truly mattered in his life, not in a dramatic, life-changing way, more in a reflective, thoughtful sense. He realized he had spent years giving everything to his work, commitments, and public life, and very little time giving attention to himself. So he started making small changes. He set boundaries, he learned to pause, he even gave himself permission to say no to things he would have automatically accepted before. And in doing so, he discovered something unexpected. He still had the same fire, the same drive, the same passion, just buried under layers of exhaustion he had ignored for too long. He smiled while explaining how silly he felt for not recognizing the signs earlier. According to him, even a quiz genius can miss the obvious sometimes. But he also made sure to reassure fans he wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't stepping away. He wasn't retreating from the world. He was simply realigning, recalibrating, and giving himself permission to live in a healthier rhythm. As Mark put it, even the Beast needs a reboot now and then. Yet, despite his calm explanation, fans couldn't help but feel emotional. They weren't used to seeing this side of him, a softer side, a reflective side, a deeply human side that contrasted with the fierce persona they knew from television. And the love poured in.
Thousands of comments, messages, and heartfelt notes filled his feeds. Fans reminded him how important he was to them, how much joy he brought to their lives, and how they wanted nothing more than to see him healthy, happy, and thriving. Even other entertainers chimed in with supportive and occasionally teasing remarks. One coworker joked that Mark was only exhausted because he carried all the tension of the show on his shoulders. Another friend teased that he needed a week off to recharge his beastly batteries. Of course, Mark responded with humor that left everyone laughing. He said that if he ever took a whole week off, the contestants would probably celebrate more than he would. But beyond the jokes lay a message that resonated deeply. Mark reminded everyone that strength isn't measured by how much you can endure, but by knowing when to pause, breathe, and reset. He spoke about the importance of recognizing your own needs, even when the world expects you to be unstoppable. His honesty didn't make him look weak, as some might expect. It made him look stronger, more grounded, more aware, and more connected to the people who admire him. And as the dust settled, fans began to see this moment not as a heartbreaking confession, but a powerful reminder. Everyone, even the strongest among us, deserves care and compassion. Now, as Mark steps forward with renewed balance, his presence feels different, lighter, warmer, and somehow even more charismatic than before. Fans are not just watching him, they're rooting for him. And he, in return, appears more connected to his audience than ever. Mark's story isn't about illness, tragedy, or fear. It's about humanity. It's about recognizing your limits, respecting your well-being, and learning to laugh even when life feels heavy. And if there's one thing everyone knows, it's this: the beast always rises, sometimes with thunder, sometimes with laughter, but always with the strength that made fans love him in the first place. As Mark continues moving forward, the world watches with admiration, not because he's perfect, but because he's real. And sometimes that's the most powerful thing a public figure can be.